Watch Who?
Hello.
And welcome to Two Watch Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I'm new to watching Who.
Watching for the very first time.
I can't do it.
Okay, so...
very first time. That's it. That's all there is. There's nothing. Let's just get straight into this. I have laryngitis. I've had it for over a week. This is where we're at. And I was like, I can't just keep waiting. We just got to do it. So I'm not in any pain. I just sound awful. And this is the best I've sounded in ages, isn't it, Mark?
I mean, yeah, can I put in that little clip of when that voice note you sent me when you really lost your voice?
Okay, this is currently what I sound like, just so you know. And then I'll put the rest in a message.
I had nothing for 2 days. And then it slowly started coming back. We've rescheduled this 3 times, haven't we? We're going to do it on Thursday. And I could have done it, but I was slightly quieter than this. And I just thought, you know what, let's just wait until Sunday. I'm either going to be back to normal or almost there. And this is where I'm at. So, yeah, apologies. It's not your speakers. It's me. I'm just going to be really croaky.
Oh, no. What a way to start a new season.
I know. It's like the Doctor. I just need time to rest.
You need your zero room.
I know. And also, in all my work, everyone's coming down with it now, so I'm being called patient zero. Don't even know where it came from. I don't know anyone else that had it, and then suddenly I was ill.
Well, yeah, it has been a little while since we last recorded. A brand new season. I was going to update you with that I've been watching a bit more of Grey's Anatomy.
Ooh, yeah, tell me.
I'm probably only up to like episode 9 or 10 of the first series. I do like it. It's the operations again. I had to get up and walk out halfway through one because it was so I was like, oh my God. I was like, no. It was the one where, because it's a lot of like sort of brain surgeries and things and like major, and I'm like,
yeah, they're big.
Oh my God.
You're going to cope with Grey's Anatomy, love. Some of the things coming up. Maybe this isn't the show for you.
So I'm trying to like deal with that. So it's quite a big like effort to watch because I'm like quite traumatized after each operation that happens.
Maybe that's how I feel about early Doctor Who.
But I will stick with it. I'll stick with it. Have you been watching anything else?
Oh, I've watched so much stuff. I've watched a lot of crime documentaries. I've slept a lot. I've done a lot. I've not worked. I didn't work for 5 days, was it? I literally, because I couldn't talk, couldn't do anything, and I just kept sleeping. So I watched a lot of crime documentaries. What else did I watch? Black Mirror. I started Black Mirror. The first one's really good. I'm still watching the Kardashians. That when you're ill, do you know what? That's where I'm at. And there's a big argument coming, right? And they've teased it the entire season. And we are on episode 6 out of 10. And they still have not had the argument. I'm like, fucking hell. Let's have the argument, guys. Come on. Like, every time I'm watching it, I'm ready for it. I'm like, bring it. I want to see this argument. It just doesn't come. They're teasing it. It'll be like the 10th episode. They even showed, at the end of the last episode, a trailer of the start of them sitting down to talk and have this argument. And it still wasn't in the next episode.
No. Wow. I told you earlier, I'm just watching Prank Encounters on Netflix as well, the elaborate prank show, which I'd recommend. I've nearly watched all of them now.
Oh, okay,
because they're so good. It's just again easy TV to watch. So like 20 minutes, and I just love it because everybody is just believing all of these elaborate storylines and stuff. It is basically just a very elaborate hidden prank show with people set up for all sorts of situations. So that's brilliant. I've put Sarah's voice on my notes to talk about, so we've done that, tick. But it is a new season. It is a new Doctor.
This has been a bit of a journey of me watching because I accidentally started watching it before the Oscars, but I only did like 10 minutes. And when I started it, I'd forgotten that the regeneration happened, classic me. And I was like, oh yeah, regenerated. That happened. So I watched the first 10 minutes and stopped. Then I rewatched it. I started it a few days ago when I knew we might record. I did episode 1. Then I did episode 2 last night, and then I had 3 and 4 to do today, and I did 3, and we've been ill. I'm so tired. I said to Mark, I need to go and have a sleep. And I slept for longer than expected, so Mark was ready for me, and I was still asleep. So then I woke up and then panic watched the 4th episode. So I've literally just finished it, but it's been a bit of a journey.
I really like this one. I had this on video. I've got a definite memory of getting the video of this because it was the same day I saw Titanic at the cinema.
Oh, okay.
Which probably would have been 97.
Yeah, 97's Titanic, yeah.
I remember that because my friend Darren was going with my friend Kelly to see it, and they were like, oh, do you want to come along? I was like, okay. And they were like, oh, you can sit next to Kelly's friend Rebecca. And I was like, I don't really want to. I don't really like Rebecca, but I can have to sit next to her. And she was I didn't really know her. And I was like, great. And now I'm stuck here watching Titanic with Rebecca. And I was trying to find a picture of her or something, but I drew a picture just to see what. And this is, I genuinely, she looked like this. She looked like
oh my God, Mark, your drawing. Oh my Mark, your drawing skills are not great. That's terrible.
That's what she looked like.
Okay, from that, she has eyelashes. She has curly hair. She's wearing a tie. And the most terrifying grin in the world.
That was her, yeah. That was her in a school uniform. That's why she's wearing a tie. So after Titanic...
Mark, can you just take a picture of that to upload with this episode?
Okay, yeah.
That is the most terrifying picture I've ever seen. Like when you were like, I drew her, like, I know you can't draw.
That is a very lifelike version of her. But I think she was in year 9. I was in year 7.
That poor girl. I'm sure she was much more attractive than that picture gives.
No, I was in year 7. She was in year 9.
Oh, wow.
And then after the film, I think everyone was like going home. And I was thinking, I really want to go to the market and buy Castrovalva on video. Because it was in my mind to do that before I went home. And I was like, right, I'm going out. And she was like, oh, I'll come with you. And I was like, oh, okay. So she came with me.
And then she saw you kind of Doctor Who, like, oh, okay.
And I remember being really excited. I was like, oh, I'm going to get this. And I think I tried to explain to her what this story. This was like the first Fifth Doctor story. It's really good. It's really exciting.
And then she was like, yeah, I'm going to get a bus.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that is my memory of getting Castrovalva. And I went straight home and watched that. And I was like, this is so much better than Titanic.
Sure. I mean, I enjoyed Titanic. I didn't watch it when I came out. I was too young, but...
Well, it was just really long. It was just a really long film. To sit in the cinema, it is a long film.
Especially like year 7.
I remember I came... And this was exciting because it's got the pre-title sequence of the regeneration again. You've got the recap and then it goes into the new title.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. That's why it started. And then I was like, oh, yeah, that happened.
And this is by the same writer as the last one, Logopolis. So it's carrying on, and it's very similar to the previous season in terms of the sort of scientific jargon and ideas behind it. And it completely carries on from the previous one. So they're picking him up and they're taking him off to the ambulance at the beginning.
There was a lot going on. It was cool, but...
Okay, well, let's do Clothes Watch for the season. Let's do early... So Clothes Watch. So we've still got Tegan, Adric and Nyssa in their same outfits throughout this.
I mean, to be fair, it makes sense for this because they are definitely like the priority is someone getting better and getting to his place and not dying. So I'd be a bit concerned if they were suddenly like, oh, do you know what? I'm just in the clothes room in here. I'll just go and get changed quickly while we work through this absolute disaster emergency.
Well, I was thinking actually, so Tegan, because these stories sort of carry on. Let's say, okay, so she's on her way to her new job on Monday morning, and her aunt is picking her up Monday morning. They break down. She ends up in the TARDIS. She wanders around the TARDIS for a bit. She's on Logopolis, probably like sort of late Monday afternoon. And then from Logopolis, she goes to the telescope place, and they land like really early in the morning. So that's like 7 o'clock on Tuesday morning, maybe.
Yeah.
And then all of that stuff probably happens. Maybe the ambulance stuff. He falls, regenerates. you're looking like maybe 9, 10 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. And then she goes into the TARDIS right back to the beginning of history. All that TARDIS stuff must be a good couple of hours.
That's probably like Tuesday, like afternoon, after lunch.
I think there is a night. They do spend the night in Castrovalva, so it must be Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And so I think she's back in that TARDIS by sort of late Wednesday afternoon. So she, like, on Tegan's point of view, and I suppose Adric's as well, that's the timeline, I think. And she's been in her clothes. So on her way to her new job to, like, Castrovalva by, like, Wednesday, like, that is quite a lot going on. Nyssa changes her trousers, though, gets into trousers halfway through.
There was something, maybe, because someone else, no, the ladies, you know, the ones in the Castro, they all had tutu skirts, so they must have thought, we need her in something different so she doesn't look like part of
that, yeah. Staying on Clothes Watch, the Doctor's new outfit.
I mean, yeah, he takes a while to get into it, but...
So he's unravelling...
There's literally one ready for him, isn't there?
Well, yeah, I mean, what I was trying to think what we had last time with the fourth Doctor, who was in and out in all the different outfits, but it's all there ready. It's a very uniform look. And actually, talking about the others' clothes as well, I think this is a shift that we've had maybe from last season, definitely into this season, where we're in the 80s now. Everyone's got regular outfits, a bit like they do in the new series. Like the Doctor has his regular outfit. Sometimes the companions have a couple of episodes or a series with the same things on. I think this is where the producer is looking more towards merchandising. There's definitely fandom around by this point. He wants everyone in their regular costumes, as it were. And I think that's where this Fifth Doctor costume, it's the most designed we've had so far. In a way.
Yeah, I mean, like, other than the other Doctor's question mark move on his things, and then we move to this, it's very stylized, and it's very... He stands out as some quirky character. It doesn't quite fit in the same... But it's also stylized.
Before, with the Doctor, I mean, okay, with the fourth Doctor and the scarf, that's been the most out there thing. First, second, third were... a bit different, but not so much. This is a definite... And the cricketing thing is a bit weird, because, we see, as well, I don't know how excited you were. I always love this story, because, again, it was a TARDIS story. We see loads of the inside of the TARDIS. We love seeing... So
much of the inside of the TARDIS. I was surprised how much we saw.
But we don't see the wardrobe room, our favourite.
No, there was one bit. There was one shot that was like this whole long. It wasn't even a corridor. It's like an open room.
That was the Zero room.
No. It was not the Zero room. It was outside the Zero room. It was just like a one-shot thing.
Like a big corridor bit.
It was a corridor, but it didn't look like a corridor. You know, it looked like a massive room.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen as much TARDIS since that spring
and
one.
And then you lose 25% of the TARDIS.
But I thought you would like that. I always like that, all those
I do, yeah.
But then you see the cricket room, and that's where he finds his outfit, which is a bit...
By a mirror, all hung up, yeah.
Yeah, all ready to go. Sorry, just going back a bit. So we have Adric taken over by the Master.
Adric, where are you?
And then that couple of episodes in the TARDIS going round, it's very much the Nyssa and Tegan show, isn't it? They do so much in this.
They do so much. Like... I was thinking about, it was maybe the third episode. There's not a lot of Doctor at all. There's definitely not a lot of Adric.
Adric, where are you?
They're really setting up that these two are new companions and giving them lots to do.
They work well together in that first episode, getting everything sorted, working out how to use the TARDIS and stuff. And we're going towards the Big Bang and everything's getting warmer and everything.
We're heading straight into the biggest explosion in history.
I mean, actually, sorry, a close watch again. Nyssa in her furs. When they're getting towards the Big Bang, there's steam and everything happening. She does not even bother taking off her furs out of everything.
The closest to reacting, I thought, was not Nyssa, the other one. Tegan, thank you. It's going to be like this for a while. Tegan was really strong in that whole scene.
Back to the first event.
Well, she was that Earth person panicking. Nissa's a bit more scientific and calm and cool.
Yeah, yeah.
But like Tegan took her jacket off, she was getting like.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But she looked flustered and hot as well. I don't know. I thought she did it really well.
But like,
I thought her acting was really strong.
All the bag watch actually as well. So Tegan has a handbag on the console, that massive bag. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't notice that.
Because she picks it up and that's where the index file is underneath. But I saw, which again I've never noticed before, Nissa's got her fairy bag on for a lot of the time. It blends in with all her other massive furs that she's wearing.
Why are we giving all these women accessories?
I don't know, but I just noticed they were both in the TARDIS with their handbags.
That's funny. I didn't notice that.
All the times I've watched it, I've never noticed. They're not really sweating very much, and they're not even, like, especially Nyssa with all of her hairspray and everything, you know, and all of her. Maybe, but although maybe on Traken they don't sweat or something, I don't know.
There's a slight problem with the sweating.
Hogwash.
I open that bottle of fish. Bottle of fish. That was it's even a thing.
Bottle of fish.
I don't know where I was going with that one. Can of worms is what I meant to say. Came out with bottle of fish. Bottle of fish. Gosh. I hope people appreciate my dedication here.
But so you're liking sort of Tegan and Nyssa now.
I liked how much they had to do. It feels like it just didn't feel like the first story never really feels like a normal story. This really didn't. There's not a lot of Doctor, and when we have a Doctor, he's very much by himself, so we don't really know how he really interacts with the others.
Well, it's three companions again. I mean, it's the Susan issue again, or right back to the beginning, where there's so many characters. Someone each story is going to have to be captured or taken out of it to allow the others to do something.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you expecting the Master to be in this again?
Oh, I don't know, actually. I'm trying to think. No, maybe. Because we did see him get away at the end, didn't we?
Was the third story in a row with him in now?
Yeah, yeah. So maybe I was. He's great. I really like. I mean, I just think the Master as a character is so much fun. I don't know. For me, this was a really odd story for the Doctor. And like, it just didn't feel like it fit a narrative. And so quite often the first one doesn't. But usually he does a little bit more. Whereas this, most of it, he's just out of it. He's resting. He's in a box. I mean, for ages, they're just carrying him in a box. You don't even see him. You don't even see. And I wondered, like, why that choice was made. Because surely you want to, like, he's this new Doctor. You want to show off this character.
I'm the Doctor.
And all of that outdoor filming, you don't see him. You only see him right at the end running to the TARDIS and get him to. But, like, he's in a box and being carried around like a coffin. It's really bizarre. I was just going to say, I wondered if it was like an early contract thing and he had something else, like, and so they were like, we want him. When I think of, like, okay, let's just go back. So, like, the last Doctor's, the fourth Doctor's first story, what was that?
The big robot.
Big robot.
It's a big robot with Unit, Harry, Sarah, Brigadier, everybody. Big robot that King Kong.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, he did quite a lot in that. He was involved. The third Doctor woke up in the hospital.
He was out. That was the nearest because he was out of it for the first couple of episodes, wasn't he? And then he got his outfit.
Yeah, but he was around and then he did what he does and he found Unit and they do all that, you know. And then the second Doctor is pretty much straight into quite a big story. I think it was like 6 episodes, wasn't it? So, like, I just don't understand why they had him in a box.
Oh, I think it's to get the mystery of the Doctor. And you've got the other companion. You need to have Tegan and Nyssa for something, because they're quite new as well.
Yeah, but I also think, from an audience point of view, you really need to connect with the Doctor. And you need to get that established quite early. This is how I feel about it. I think it's really important that we know each time the Doctor is slightly different, you know? And we just need to know who he is. And so much of it was him just out of it. I mean, all right, he put on some clothes that were literally hanging up for him.
I can feel it isn't going to be as smooth as on other occasions.
Other than that, he's so out of it, and so he just comes into a room and he's gone again. Oh, he's got to go back and rest. I just thought it was a really odd move to be like, oh, he's got to keep rest. He's got to rest. He's got to rest. I agree. We have a lot of new companions and things like that we're trying to like, but like, and which is why I'm guessing the choice was to get rid of Adric over the other two. I get that completely. I just thought it was so strange for him to be out of it so much. It's only the 4th episode that he's really doing stuff. And like towards the end of the 3rd, when they do that thing on the board and they're like, and then from there he's there.
But I think maybe it's because it's the first new Doctor for 7 years, so everyone's going to be tuning in to see the new Doctor. You don't want it all there straight away in part 1. I think by this point it's on, or definitely this season, it's on twice weekly. It's on like a Tuesday and a Thursday night or something. So, So a story would only be like 2 weeks, 4-part story. So I think maybe they're like, right, everyone's going to tune in to see Peter Davison as new Doctor. Oh, okay, we'll tune in next week to see him a bit more. Oh, he's gone. We'll tune in next week. And then it's by episode 4 that you finally get it. Maybe they're thinking in that way.
Maybe. I just thought it was a bit of a rogue move. Because I do not know what sort of Doctor he is. I don't...
Oh, but I don't think you're supposed to do that straight away you never do for that first story.
No.
I didn't like, though, and we haven't really had this before. This is a new thing, where when you first see him, he's doing sort of the impressions of the other Doctors. I found that all a bit silly, where he's doing all the quotes and stuff and saying stuff. And I know it's supposed to be like that, and we get that a bit later on as well. Even with some of the new series Doctors, they're all a bit sort of quirky and eccentric straight away, aren't they? Until they settle down a bit. I don't know. I just found it really cringy and silly in this one.
Right. If I was writing this, I think I'd have had that first story where he's ill and he goes to the room, all that. And then maybe not even half, a quarter of the second story. But basically, I think a lot of the first story could have been condensed. There was a lot of faffing. Some of it, like, I don't know, it felt like a lot of just walking around the TARDIS, which, I love, don't get me wrong, but it didn't take us anywhere. So, and it wasn't towards the end of the first episode that they are in that trouble. I think I would have preferred something else that made them trigger to go to, I keep wanting to say Casanova.
Castrovalva, yeah. But I like the idea of Castrovalva, that it's this trap that the Masters set.
I thought that was great. And there was a lot going on. There was like, we're going to the start of the universe. Oh, we've done this. Oh, but he's right. He's sort of all of this. He's got another plan, you know. I thought there was a bit too much that I thought maybe, I don't know, he's not regenerating the room or something. And they're like, what can we do? And that's when it happens more. And Adric's being strange. And then they look in the thing and that's how they end up going there. And I think it would have been a bit more, I don't know. Anyway, and then I think we could have had the crash landing being like the end of episode 1 instead. And then going into episode 2 already there. And I think you could have had a bit more. Equally, I like the whole concept, like you say, of what the place was and stuff. And there were some really interesting characters. And I like trying to work that out. I think we could have just had a bit more Doctor time and a bit more. Or if you were going to do this whole, and I were going to stick him in a room to have a sleep for a bit.
Adric's strange in this, because he gets captured. But then he comes into the TARDIS, doesn't he? And he's with the Doctor for the beginning. And then there's like this shot of him and he's just sort of wandering around the TARDIS on his own. And then the next time we see him, he's like strung up in that thing for the rest of the story. And I was like, how did he get out of the TARDIS into the, like, or was it supposed to be?
Projection.
Oh, it's a projection, yeah. You got it right, yeah. I don't know why I didn't pick that up before.
That's why his behaviour is all strange and everything. And you're like,
yeah.
What's going on? Yeah.
Actually, that's the best acting, when he's doing that more evil acting. I think that was quite good.
I don't hate Adric. Like, I know, like, you know, there have been criticisms and things like that, but like, I think he does really well at like the innocence of that. He's obviously a young kid. I think he plays it really well. It was for me, and I really liked him being off with the Master. and that sort of dynamic and stuff.
And the way that it's done with Castrovalva, it links to Logopolis with it's created with the mathematics and stuff that they were doing in Logopolis. That's how it's all been created. I quite like that it carries on in that way. I liked just all of Nyssa and Tegan stuff. I liked when Nyssa has to does some DIY and builds the cabinet. That was quite good. But yeah, but it is quite padding because you don't need to sit there watching her press this button, wait for it to change colour, unscrew the thing, do that. There's quite a lot of that.
There's a lot of padding in there.
But then the biggest padding then is in part 2, where it's Tegan and Nyssa with a wheelchair and a cabinet pushing it up through this forest. That's the weirdest thing, isn't it?
And then, again, they get, captured, or they don't. They get away very easily from those. They screamed, ran, and no one moved. But what was the point in them, doing all that, and then just, when they're actually in, they're all right?
I think it's just to build that cliffhanger to say the doctor's gone and there's danger, because there's not really any danger. I mean, all the paddock when Nyssa falls in the stream. Well, the wheelchair falls down.
Yeah, there is so much padding in this.
So that was... But it looks great, though. It's great filming. It looks good,
but I'll be honest, I was a bit bored.
You don't need to see them traipsing through a forest for, however long.
I went on my phone at one point.
With a really 80s wheelchair that's just
also, that's the thing, they're in the TARDIS and they've got, a bog-standard NHS hospital chair. We've got a fucking robot dog. Do you know what I mean? We got such a boring thing.
It does get more interesting when they get to Castrovalva, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the best part of this story, for sure.
Okay, here's the question. Patrive, did you realise that was the Master in disguise?
No,
really?
I thought it was the other guy.
Oh, Shardovan, the librarian one, the one in black.
Yeah.
You didn't know that was the same actor playing Patrive?
No.
See, he's done it again.
Yeah, it's really good, though. I genuinely didn't. I thought, because the librarian did sort of look like the Master as well, and he's in black, seeing the evil. I thought it was him. But you don't see that much of the Master in this, other than when he's with Adric in his little dark room. So I thought that was him, and he was being, openly, because he's created this thing, I thought that he was, there to control it and stuff.
And I liked all of the corridor stuff, looking back and they're caught and then they can't find their way out. And then the realisation with everybody that they're not real and stuff. And
yeah.
It's not like we've got really strong guest characters because we've got Tegan and Nyssa trying to sort everything out. But the ones that we do have, I mean, maybe they're not going to last for a Doska, but they're okay. Nobody's major. There's no major. Terrible. No one's terrible, but no one's majorly stand out.
But also, I guess if they're just created to exist and coerce in this world, then that's their character. They don't need to stand out. If they stood out, that might be a problem. There's
no monster. There's no apart from the Master. No one's really, and the Master's, although he's dressed up.
I wonder if the reason they had him in a box for all this outdoor shooting was because they were trying to keep it quiet when they were filming.
No, I don't know. I think he was announced. He was announced before who it was and everything. There wasn't any. Okay, they didn't really do stuff like that back then. I just don't think they took him. I think it was just a schedule thing. Maybe they just didn't take him because he's on. I know he is in the box on location, isn't he? Once.
Yeah. I mean, literally, because they get off the thing and he's there, and outside the thing they put him in a box, and then that's it. That's all he does. And then right at the end, he's on location when they were all coming back to the TARDIS, the three of them. That's it. The rest, and then there's the only other time you see him is when he's got out the box and he's scaling a mountain.
Oh, and Tegan and Nyssa trying to climb the mountain a couple of times. And then when they get there and they find out, my favourite bit was when the doctor's asking the guys where is where's this route on the chalkboard, and they're like, it's here on the map. I quite like, and they start to realise. And then when the Master's this is all created out of Adric's created it out of mind. I was thinking, oh my god, it's prank encounters. They've all been pranked by the Master. It's like Nyssa and Tegan are on a prank show.
You're on my prank show, Prank Encounters.
Oh my God!
They thought they flew the TARDIS and they didn't. They thought they were going to Castrovalva. They thought everyone was real, and actually, it's all the Master's trap.
Yeah.
It's basically the ultimate prank. Is Castrovalva.
I am a little bit sad that it turned out that Tegan didn't fly the TARDIS.
I know, because the way that it was the same attitude when she was changing the tyre for the car in the other story. She's like, right, I'm going to do this, follow the instructions, let's do this.
And like, it landed terribly. What difference would it have made that she read some coordinates that didn't exist and it went there?
When it lands on its side and they're getting in and out the TARDIS, that is some great sideways acting. Because obviously the camera's just tilt, and it really does look like they're all like struggling up this slope and everything. That is brilliant.
Yeah, there's some good acting. There's some good moments. Like I didn't not enjoy it. There was a lot of padding.
And the only other thing I'm going to say about all the TARDIS stuff, which this is more looking nowadays. I wouldn't have thought this when I was younger watching it because I loved every minute of it. But now when you watch it, it does look very studio. And this is what I'm going to complain about for the 80s a lot. It's just too bright. Like I was thinking when they're walking around the TARDIS, and I think Tegan says it feels like we're getting deeper into the TARDIS and everything. Just bring the lights down a little bit, make it feel like there's a bit of depth, because you've got all this long corridor. You could have some sort of, when the Doctor's looking around, you could have had some sort of darker corners of the studio. And it's not like they can't do it, because last time, when the Doctor and Adric were going within the TARDIS, it was getting darker and darker, and it looked really good. I just felt like everything, and even in Castrovalva, this is what we get in the there's just this, I mean, it is how television was made back then, but everything is just bright studio. And I just thought, if you just added a bit, that would add a bit of drama. Imagine if there was like smoke in those first episodes in the TARDIS, and then the lights were flickering a bit and it was getting darker, and those round things were different, glowing or something like that. It would have just added a bit more, because I was just thinking, it's literally just studio.
It is, yeah. It's very clean. It's very clean for something old and lived in.
Which I know the TARDIS is, but I don't know, they could have just added a few more different things to make it, I don't know, they could have just done something else, but time, money, it's all the same thing, isn't it? That's just like criticism with hindsight.
Yeah. No, I get that. I do get that. I give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, I'd probably say 7 or 8 actually, because I do like this one, but looking at it now, there is less to it than I remembered.
I think it's quite a nice, easy story.
Yeah. Just to begin the new series. And if you think I think it was at least could have been 18 months in terms of TV when the last episode was shown and this new series was on. That's a long time for people to wait for that to carry on. Okay, we haven't done this for a while. Who are out of the Doctor, Tegan, Nyssa and Adric, how are you going to rank them this time? How are you?
Tegan, Nyssa, Doctor, Adric.
As in best to worst?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where are you?
Yeah, do you know what? In this, Tegan is number 1 for me, just because she's done so much. And I just forgot, she worked hard to get everything sorted.
Do you know what? There were moments where it did remind me of Sarah Jane.
Yeah.
And her acting's really strong.
Yeah. Because I think Nyssa is a little bit weaker in terms of character and acting, I think.
I think there's just not a lot of character to Nyssa.
But even those moments where when the Master's on the screen and she's like, obviously that's the face of her father, but and she's like, oh, I hate that. There wasn't really, it felt like she was just saying it. And also later on in Castrovalva, when they're sitting down when she's with the Master there, and from when she's faced with it, it's like, he's used it, that is the face of your father. What there should be something there.
Yeah.
But again, she didn't. The most emoting she did was when she fell in the water, I think. Yeah. But I still do like her. I still like her. And I think Doctor and Adric, it's not there.
They just didn't do enough. They weren't seen and didn't do enough. Adric, bless him. I mean, I thought the scenes he had were good. I liked him being evil. I liked him interacting with the master. I liked him trying to like help them or, assume to help them and didn't, all that. I thought it was all really great. I forgot about him sometimes because he's just not there. But when he was there, I did enjoy it. But he wasn't in it.
By the end of it, we've got to our regulars. They're all set. Off they go. So now we should really get going into the season. So,
yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Okay, so the next one's 4 episodes, and it's called 4 to Doomsday.
Oh, 4 to Doomsday.
Yeah.
As in FOR.
Yeah.
2 TO.
FOUR. Yeah.
Oh, 4.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. FOUR 4.
I think it'll be a space one. I think it'll be on a planet, and I think that the planet will be imploding or something. I don't know.
Yes. Okay. And it was actually, I'll tell you this. See if you notice anything. It was the first one they filmed of the season.
Oh, okay.
I think Castrovalva was like the 3rd or the 4th.
Oh, really? Okay.
I can just see Rebecca's face in Titanic every time I watch Castrovalva. Oh dear. I can't remember her surname, so I can't look her up now.
I don't want you to, poor girl. Not after that drawing.
Her brother was in my class, because I remember I went to like a French lesson. He was like, what are you doing hanging around with my sister? Like his older sister.
Don't blame him.
Okay, right, there we go. And in the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 2WatchWho. Oh, I did tell you about the real Buy Me a Coffee person that bought me a coffee.
Yeah, you did.
Starbucks.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it was so strange.
Let's have no internet.
Yeah, I didn't have internet, so I went to Starbucks to work. So obviously you have to buy something there. So I was in the queue, and it was quite busy. So when the person's like taking the order, taking the payment, sort of, it's a bit of a conveyor belt, isn't it? So I saw the guy in front of me was taking his order, and I saw him get his card out, and I thought he'd paid on the card machine. And then the woman looked at me as if I thought, oh, she's taking my order while she sorts out that payment. So I said, just like a coffee. And then I went along, and she was like, oh no, he paid for it. And I was like, what?
Well, maybe he was flirting.
Oh, I don't. It was really. And then but then when you wait for your coffee at the end. So he was waiting for the coffee. So I walked up and I was like, oh, thank you. And he was like, that's fine. Have a great day. I was like, okay. But then we just stood there in awkward silence while we were waiting for our coffee. And then I just said thanks again and went to sit down. I was like, that's okay. But no, it seemed really awkward, like he did not want to talk to me. So
maybe he was just doing a good deed.
Yeah, I think. But then I was like, well, what else do I say? So anyway, that was very nice. Like a very kind gesture. And then when I sat down, I was doing my work. This lady on the table opposite was like, do you want this pack of biscuits I bought? And I was like, oh, thanks.
3 day for Mark in Starbucks.
It was a very bizarre day, but it was very nice. But yes, there we are. And thank you for everybody that supports us on Buy Me a Coffee, because it's like that, but virtual.
Yeah. And we say thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. Bye.
See you soon. Bye. Bye.
To watch who?